And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Game of Crowns from AEG. Well, if you look at the cover and you see this guy who is sitting on a throne, and you see that the game has houses that are wheeling and dealing with each other, yes, this is a take, I'm sure of it, on Game of Thrones. This game has a lot of players, up to 9. I was very intrigued with it because it had some of that wheeling and dealing involved. Let's take a look and see if it's as good as I hoped. The game takes place over 3 rounds here, and you're going to have some ravens. Each player is going to start with 4. There's going to be a small pile of guest cards that's placed in the middle of the table. Then we have a big pile of cards here, and there's a different pile for each house in the game. So if you're a house in the game, you get this attack and defender card. You don't keep those in your hand. You're going to use those occasionally. And then you have a whole handful of cards that you're going to be playing over the course of the game or using. Now, on your turn, you have 2 different things you can do. You can play a card, or you can make an exchange. When you make an exchange, the way you do that is you're simply going to play a card in front of you. So I might say, I'd like to get rid of this feud card. I'd like to trade it to somebody else. Each other player is going to play a card in front of them. So maybe this player here offers me a coinage card, and everyone puts a card out around the table. After it comes back to me, I can decide to double down and put out another card that I want to trade and go around. Or I can just do 1 card. Once I've decided whether I'm doing 1 card or 2 card, everyone else will have put out 1 card or 2 cards. I will trade with one person, everyone else gets their cards back in their hand, and I will give them those cards, and I will take the cards that they have given me and put those into my hand. So that's what you can do on your turn. The other thing you can do on your turn is you can play a card. Now when you play a card, there is mostly 2 different cards that you can play. One of those cards is the one that you've seen already, and that's the coinage card here. When I play this card, I simply exchange it with a card that I randomly steal from someone else's hand. The other kind of card that you want to play is a knight card. When this happens, you're going to attack a player of your choice. So let's say, I'm going to attack Bob. Now at that point, I say I'm attacking Bob, and everyone at the table is going to decide whether they're going to be with me, the attacker, or the defender. They're going to play one of these cards face down. I play one face down. I can even say defender for whatever reason. After that's done, everyone will reveal the cards that they have, but then players can add ravens to boost their attack power or defensive power, and then the winner is going to either steal a card from the other person's hand. They just look at their whole hand and take a card, or they can take the top guest card and add that card to their hand. The defeated player gets any Raven tokens that were used against them. So this will continue for 3 rounds where players will be either playing a card or they will be making some sort of attack against another player. Then they're going to look at the cards left in their hand and score points for them. So for example, if you have the most feud cards at the end of the game, you get 1 point for every feud. Knight cards are not worth anything per se unless you have a princess card, and then each princess will give you 1 victory point for every knight you have. Traders at the end of the game will give you 1 point for every coinage that you still might have. The Castellan gives you a victory point for every raven token that you have. And then the guest cards that you get might change, will give you things too. Like the Jester gives you 2 points for each Jester you have. There's several Jesters that are in the guest deck. Here you get a point for coinage that's in each adjacent player's turn. Here you get a point for every card that you have from a different player. And that's how the game is played. Now you can make the game longer if you so desire. You can also add in negotiation where players can offer each other ravens and things to make deals. But most points at the end of the rounds is the winner. For me, Game of Crowns was a disappointment on pretty much every level. And I really was incredibly unhappy with this game because it could have been a great game. There was good ideas in there. Now, none of the ideas in this game are absolutely new. Having cards in your hand that give you points for different things at the end of the game, that's not new. And putting out the cards for trade, that's not new either. There's another game that does it very well called Robin. The problem here is this game is just a bust, and for several reasons. One, you have 3 actions. I mean, really, when you look at it, if you play a card as your action that steals a card from someone else's hand, and you can do that twice because you start with 2 coinages, that's 2 of the 3 actions you have over the course of the game. You might fight with someone and you might trade, but those are your actions. Now, in a game of 9 people, that can get kind of boring. I have not played with 9. I think I played with 7, but I don't know if I played all the way up to 9. But 7 was interminably long. The trading phase is interesting of an idea, but the fact is almost everyone has the same cards. No one wants to give you a really good deal, right? So you might try to get a good deal like, hey, I want the most feuds, so I'll do this. Well, not everyone's going to want to give you that deal, or you might demand something that only 1 or 2 people has. So there are many times where someone would say, this is a card I'm looking for. And I would sit there and go, okay, I'm not even involved. I'll put out some cards because I have to, but I know you're not going to want them. I'm going to put out the exact same card you're trading. Which just made the trading phase, which could have been exciting and interesting, really dull. But what really gets my goat is that attacking phase. Oh! See, now that attacking phase sounds fascinating, right? I fight someone else, I ask people for help, they ask people for help, people get involved. There is no, I mean 0 incentive to help the attacker or the defender. Why would I help the attacker defender? I get nothing out of it. So I'm like, I like him better. I don't know, I think I'll pick that person. So, okay, so this was really infuriating to me. So I said, all right, let's play with a negotiation. This way we can give ravens to people. You get 4 ravens for the whole game. There's no currency, there's no real way to do any sort of negotiation other than saying, hey, help me fight this battle, I'll help you fight a future battle. It just doesn't work. This mechanism, which works so smoothly and so wonderfully in Cosmic Encounter, is absolute dreck in this game. Blah! And the guest deck is cool. I like the new guys, but you barely get them. You have to win a battle, and that, as we've already talked about, is random. I think this game could have been really well done. I think it could have worked well. Have a few more rounds, the trading system's not bad, have multiple different style cards so that the trading is more interesting, give another kind of currency or something that makes the negotiation, that you actually have something to negotiate with, and this game could have been fun. As it is, though, I will never play this again. Game of Crowns. Dice Tower Judgment, I hate it.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!